Yes, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Completely lost the will to live and actually care that this club are still losing games of football. I've got a star-studded YouTube royalty list for you today. From left to right, we've got Lubo, who's a bit upset. His boy Archie didn't play very well today, so we're going to have to coach him through today's show. We've got Mr. Box Office, who's just telling everybody and anybody that he's been right all along. We've got Iggy. Iggy's promised to cook Alex, so we're going to get that going in this show. Danny apparently doesn't support Spurs and now supports Inter Milan. And Maz has been consistent from day one, saying the same thing about this manager. And for me, I'm waiting for those apology forms to fall into the inbox of Football Heritage TV for the Mr. Toxic, the Mr. Negative, who's been absolutely bloody right about this club. Guys, where to start? Before we do start, let me say this. I showed a few of you this earlier, and we asked before the game, didn't we? We asked before the day for Dr. Tottenham, and we had a few things waiting in the surgery for Dr. Tottenham, and the first one was on that list was Dominic Calvert-Lewin, that hasn't scored a goal since the 14th of September, and it's 16 games. And look, here we go. Here's all the games he's played. And you just knew it, gents, didn't you? That Spurs will help you out with that one, Dominic. Don't you worry. We'll get you another Gillette advert or whatever it is he does for the shaving. Guys, whoever can start. Team formation, first half. Go. Just someone go. anyone, someone go.
What are the positives? We're still in the Premier League. Pal of mine texted me, QPR fan texted me 15 minutes ago and said, what is going on at your club? And I said to him, fancy meeting for lunch at Westfield next season before we play you. And that's how I feel. If this isn't changed, if Levy continues to show this misguided, misplaced loyalty towards his manager, we will finish up relegated, and I will be going to QPR with my mate next season. I haven't been to Plymouth, mind you, they're going down. I haven't been to Bristol City, Rotherham, Bristol City I haven't been to. So there are a few new grounds for me next season.
No, listen. We can't talk about Championship. I don't want to be like, look.
Wake up and smell the coffee.
Listen, my thing. Right. Let me just start by saying, I think it's the right.
Whatever he's about to say, in case we go down.
I think right now, he's out of his depth. For me, it would be the right thing to do is to based on results and results alone, he should be sacked, and that I think will happen. I honestly believe that will happen now. But what I will say this: even by sacking this manager, moving forwards, I think we're going to be back here again in 12 months and 18 months. Getting rid of another manager. I honestly believe that we are doing this always. And that's not to say that we shouldn't sack the manager because I'm fed up of doing it. I'm fed up of doing this regardless. But do I think he should be going? Yes, the results suggest he should be going. We haven't won in goodness how long. I can't remember the last time we put a run of 3 or 4 wins together. We're not looking like anywhere near winning another game anytime soon, let alone getting 2 or 3 results, which we are desperate to get, just to revamp just to revitalize the players. Because at the moment, the word I can think of straight away is we look dejected. Dejected is probably the most. Even after every goal we conceded, do you know what I noticed today more than anything else? Not just today, but even more so, it was highlighted to me. We have no fight, man. From the minute that we went out on the pitch, from the minute we conceded the first goal, we just have no fight. And we were down and out by 3-0 at half time. And I think the scoreline, the final scoreline, flatters us more than it does so Everton because we listen, I'll take no difference getting away, coming back with 3-0 or a 3-2. For me, it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. The game was gone by half time.
Yeah.
Completely and utterly gone. And you can't, how do you go to a place like Everton knowing that you're going to be up for a game? They needed for points as much as they've been in a really poor run of form as well as we have. And it wasn't even a close contest. At any point in the game, did I feel we was 50-50? And that's the worst thing about it. And I said this behind the stage, like the only positive I can take out of today's game is the impact that Mikey Moore had, which I think we should really start playing this guy. I know he's come back from injury, but we should really, moving forwards, we should play this kid on the left wing. And Spence, guys. That's it. Other than that, I really can't take anything else. I like the impact these two are having because they're at least fighting. From those two, I see something.
Iggy,
But everyone else is down a
Iggy,
toilet.
look, you can't come. I've heard this all day today. Oh, if we get rid of him, right, nothing's going to change, right?
No, I think we should get rid of him. I'm talking about in terms of the
you
club.
said
In terms of the club,
the club's not going to change in 12 months, is it? I mean, you know, it's. But a lot of people are saying we shouldn't get rid of Ange because nothing's going to change in the future, right? And we'll be back here in 18 months. Yes, we will be back here in 18 months with another manager sacked because that's what this sport does. However, you can't say that we shouldn't. You know, if we change him, nothing's going to change.
No, I said he should
also,
go. I made that very clear. I said he should go.
Yeah, but
now.
other people are also saying, right, that he shouldn't go, right, because we'll get another manager and then they'll struggle as well. Then the alternative is you keep this manager and we potentially get relegated, right? So it's a bit of a binary choice. You sack him and get someone in to save us from relegation, or you keep him, right? And then you're relying on Ange Postecoglou to galvanise these players for a relegation battle.
We need to
right?
get to 43 points as ASAP, man. That's
Yeah,
what
but
we're
can I
looking
just-
for.
Can I just let
My
you-
point.
Can I just let you know, Iggy? Look, I agree with what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. You're saying, you know, he should go, but will we be back here in a year's time?
We're not dealing with the rooted problem, Savva. The rooted problem. The manager is incompetent. He's shown us that now. He's proven that.
I know, but
we're not dealing with the rooted issues.
I want to get to the point though that look, whilst I agree, is anything going to change if we sack this manager from the point of view? Do we suddenly start signing players like I don't know, players like Mateo Kovacic? I'm trying to be sensible without being ridiculous, if that makes sense. You know, do we start signing people like Alexis McAllister? Do we start signing players like Dominic Szoboszlai? No, right? But Iggy, we've all supported Spurs. I think between us in here, we've got some years, right? We've got some years between us, right? And for as long as Levy and co have been here, we've never had a manager this bad under Levy. We've never had a manager that's taken us this far backwards, right? And we have had managers in there that have given us respect. Like, and when I say respect, I mean in the Premier League, teams respected Harry Redknapp's Tottenham. Teams respected what Martin Jol had done and created at Spurs. Teams respected Pochettino's Spurs. So when people, I'm not saying you've said this, but when people keep saying it doesn't matter who's in charge, I think it massively matters who's in charge. And just to give some meat on the bones to this, right? Spurs at the moment, as you all know, we've lost 12 games in 22, right? So I don't know what that is as a percentage, 56 maybe, something like that. I don't know. Someone will work it out, right? 54 maybe, right? Ian's there. There you go. He's got it. He's ready to do something, right? So Spurs have got a plus 50% defeat rate.
Yeah. Go on. 54.54. There you go.
Bang. Great match, Richard Savva. See, I'm proud of myself. I double named myself.
What I want to see, though, is the person that hired Ange Postecoglou, he should be looked at as well, because where's the accountability? Where's the accountability for that?
I agree.
Sorry, make a point. Make a point. Sorry.
I agree. Listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. By the way, when I have this conversation about Ange and people go, "Oh, you're letting off Levy," I'm not. But the difference is, football managers come and go. Owners of a football club don't come and go that often, right? Now, Tottenham have got 12 defeats in 22. The last time we had this ratio of defeats was in 1977, which some of you will know is the year that we got relegated, right? And with this year, we're currently on course, right, for 21 defeats. Now, if we got 21 defeats, that's the exact same number we had in the year we got relegated. And that was in a 42-game season, not 38. So that makes this season at the moment, statistically and on average, the worst season we've had since 1977, which if I do my maths really quickly, is 47 years, 48 years.
Will be 48 years this year. Yeah.
So this manager is doing worse than any manager's done for 47, 48 years. And we're going, it doesn't matter who the manager is. Of course it matters who it is, just to get us to a stable place, Iggy. Surely a place of, like, we need to bring in a manager that
we need to change. We need to change. He needs to go tonight just to give a different. We need a new voice, because this voice right here, right now, it's clear after today. If there was going to be any kind of reaction or in terms of winning a game, it would have been today, because it was a good team to play against, and it was at the same level that we were at. And you're thinking, we need, if there's any signs of life, surely it needs to be seen today. And that first half, I saw what I needed to see. And that for me, listen, for me, it was over a while ago, man. Yeah, it has been for a while. I've been saying that we need, even I was the last. You guys could be calling it for ages now, but I probably was one of the. It took me a little bit longer to get there, because I see like there's got to be at some point in the season where something changes, something just happens, just clicks, but it just hasn't happened. And now it's like, man, against Everton, we put that display. I'm thinking, we've got no chance. We literally have no chance anymore. And I'm thinking the cups, even being in the cups, is no longer enough, because here we are seriously dire straits. Now, I don't think it's bottom three, 16 points, whatever points they're on. We're like, but it's like, it's not even a matter of points. For me, it's like, when's it going to change? Because you know what? If you put the result aside for 1 second, guys, we're not competing anymore on the pitch. We are not there. We're not competing in duels. We're not winning duels. We're not winning 50-50s. We're not winning one against one. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're done. We have players, even our best players in the team. They look so short of confidence. They look so low of confidence, and they just. There was an image, right, that I saw of the players when I went to the fans away, and you look at their faces. They just look gone. And for me, if we don't get, it's not just a question of changing the manager, but we need someone that's gonna really tap into the players. Like I'm not saying Harry Redknapp, but you need that kind of mold.
I am. Bring him in.
I am.
Give him a call now.
Yeah, but boys, you know what I mean? I'm talking that personality that he needs to come in and really lift the place up. We're talking about
manager, Iggy, galvanizes players, puts his arm around them and says, "Oi,
and really strips it down to basics." I'm talking about basics, like, go back to a 4-4-2 if you have to. Just simplify it as much as possible, and give a little bit of energy to say, you know what, boys, come on, man, you're better than this. Like, and we are so far away from that right now. If we don't, so for that purpose, I would say, if Harry is free, bring him into the end of the season, and then it's like, fuck me, we need to really look at the season and say, right, we need to look at who appointed Postecoglou. He needs to be called upon, accountability, and then we need to start putting things into place, because right now, man, we are on a serious freefall, and I don't see us breaking this freefall unless something drastic, an intervention comes in tonight and says, right, this is what we got to do. And we need some Tottenham boys coming in as well, someone who understands and knows the place for the next few months to the end of the season. Say, look, man, this is the job in hand. I want you to bring us out of this situation. And if Harry Redknapp's available, or someone in that mold that can do that, the sooner the better. Because I don't know. Honestly, Savva, I wouldn't know who to hire right now. I don't even know who's available to come in at such a short
notice.
Look at this.
For everybody that says it doesn't matter who's in charge, right? If we have a look at this column here, so we're looking at the column that says the placings, right? You can all see there. So if we actually look back, when we say it doesn't matter, bearing in mind this manager is 15th in the Premier League right now. Have a look at this going back. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 2016, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 to 2010, 16 for 17 seasons, right? Hang on, then we go 18, 19, 20. In 20 seasons, we have finished outside the top half of the table once. And if you actually look at the season that was the season we won the League Cup, right? Which probably kept Ramos in a job. And then we had to sack him and do exactly what I think we should do now. And I'm going to go to Maz, because Maz just said he is, and he was, and the words he said I am, was talking about Harry Redknapp. What I've said, Maz, is you don't give Harry Redknapp a 5-year manager's job now, right? For me, if I'm Levy, I'm going to Redknapp and going, pretty please, I'll give you £2 million. Please, please, please come in, be the manager between now and the summer. Please come in, give me some stability, bring some feel-good factor, bring some fun back to the club,
100.
bring some, I'll put my arm around Bergvall and Gray the way he did with Gareth Bale and Defoe, for example. Maz, am I being crazy in thinking this? Whether it's Redknapp or not, we need someone of that ilk to steady the ship.
Yeah, you need to stop the bleeding. We're bleeding and we're continuing to bleed. And Ange Postecoglou doesn't have the capability to galvanise the players, lift their spirits, whatever superlative I can throw out. He's not the man to do that. And there was a when there was a stoppage, they zoomed in on Postecoglou, and you saw the 4 coaches behind him: Jedinak, Wells, Mason, and some other guy. And you're thinking, not one of them was up talking to the manager, saying, you know, pointing stuff out or being angry or shouting at the players. And the reason why there's such a we're so bereft of confidence, confidence, is not that they're not confident in their own ability. It's that they're not confident in the person that's steering the ship. They know the tactics don't work, right? They've known it for a long time. And last season we were saying, are the players actually playing for him? Has he lost the dressing room already? And it's not that they may hate him personally. They hate his tactics and they don't understand them, right? And they're not playing to their ability. The team is not cooking, for lack of a better phrase. So I agree with you. Harry Redknapp was the first person I thought of that who could come in, who's done this many times before in the past. He is old, but he's not too old to manage, right? You know, Roy Hodgson being a prime example of someone who's come in late and done half decent for a season. And Harry Redknapp is a consummate man manager. He brings the best out of certain groups of players. Well, certainly at Tottenham, he did. And he knows the club. He knows the club. He's been there before. He's the type of person that can bring in other players who know the club around him to help him, right? And you know that for those 6 months, he would love to help Tottenham. He's said this many times before, when Jose got sacked, when Nuno got sacked, before. He said many times, right, I would love to help Tottenham, whatever I can do to help them, right? Even Glenn Hoddle has said in the past, I don't know what his health is like at the moment, but he would love to help us. They're the type of people at the moment where we're bleeding and we need to stop the bleeding, steady the ship. Yeah, you need to bring in, right? And you can't tell me that someone like Redknapp won't put an arm around Maddison and say, Maddison, I know you're a top player. You can do so much better than this. Kulu, you can be so much better than you are. Son, you know, you're one of the greatest Spurs players, you know, that they've ever had in terms of statistics and stuff like that. You come on, you can do better than this. Loads of players that can do that too. So I agree with you. Harry Redknapp all day long.
That's more important than any tactics. That's important more than anything else. Above all tactics, above all football, it's all about feeling, man. And at the end of the day, amongst the players and a manager, there seems something's lost, man. You can see it. It's lost. It's gone.
The technical aspect is, though, Iggy, right? It's not just because Harry Redknapp's a good manager, but he's a bloody good manager. He knows how to set up his teams to defend and to be attacking. Under Redknapp, I still believe Redknapp's team was the best footballing team I've seen in my lifetime at Spurs, over and above Pochettino's. right?
Agreed.
I remember going to the games and being absolutely, it was scintillating watching them play, right? Football. And obviously having amazing players like Modric and Bale, makes a big difference. But he's a good coach. He's a very good coach. Yeah, he's old. Yeah, he maybe not as good as he is, but all we need is someone just to stop the bleeding.
I think the thing is with Redknapp though is he even physically up for it anymore? I mean, I don't know if you've seen any videos of him on TalkSport and that. I've seen about 4 of him on there. I don't think he's quite by the look of it. I don't think he's quite up for that anymore. I mean, he's in his late 70s, for God's sake. Do you think he needs the pressure of being a bloody Spurs manager? But then give me £2 million, I'm sure anyone would take the pressure. And the other thing is with the style of manager, this is where some of these players need working out. I mean, we've all got our own tactics, our own style and that. But personally, I'm more one that thinks a few of these players need to smack around the face and told to get their act together, not so much a kiss and cuddle on the cheek. But
you're right. His age is a big factor.
Yeah, but arm round the shoulder doesn't necessarily mean pampering. If you look at how managers you look at Redknapp, you could see from his interviews, Redknapp was a man manager, so to speak, but he had that bit of bite about him, right? So for me, I'm not saying that it has to be all kissy cuddly, but Maz has made a great point. You want a manager to come in, grab a player like Maddison, grab a player like even Son, grab these players and go, guys, I'm going to let you off your leash. Go out there, enjoy yourselves again. Enjoy yourselves. Go and do what you do. Listen, people in the chat going, Redknapp's old. Doesn't have to be Redknapp. I'm just talking about that. Somebody to come in for 4 months. I'm not saying keep them beyond there. Then that gives Levy and his team 4 months to actively conduct a proper search across Europe to start talking to managers that may want to see out the rest of their season at their club and get something in play. My ideal would be that we go to a Bournemouth and go, Iriola, how much you want? My ideal would be that we say to Bournemouth, what's his get out? 10 million? Cool. Iriola, what do you want? You want 4 million. Here's 8. Right? That's my ideal. But I'm thinking short term, we need galvanization. And I think too many people, guys, right, are talking about, but is it a win now manager? Is it a defensive manager? Is it an attack? Right now, we need to do what I think you just said or Maz said, stop the bleeding. At the moment, we've got a plaster over open heart surgery. We need somebody to perform surgery, stop that bleed, and breathe a bit of feel-good factor around that training ground. And I just don't see why this isn't obvious to every Spurs fan. I really don't.
Just a manager for the next couple of months. I think it would also help having a manager who's known as such.
Yeah.
He's got to know
favour as well.
And it would help if someone like
if he's known as a manager.
He knows the club.
I agree with that. But he's got a bit of respect there already for something he's done in his career or life. And then maybe at the start of the next season, when you bring in the full-time manager, you can bring in the younger one, whatever way you wish to do it as such.
Do you remember in the old, we used to have like David Pleat that used to come and help us out. We used to have David Pleat that used to do that. He used to come and help us out every now and again, just when we was in trouble, just to steady the ship.
I mean, I'm sure there's a couple we can get in. I mean, I'm even at that point that I'm more than happy for getting rid of Ange tomorrow. And if I had to, I'd take Southgate for the rest of the season, as long as he's gone by the start of next season, because I think he'd do better for us than bloody Ange. That is how poor I rate Ange. I ain't saying I want him full time, but I reckon he'd get more stability out of us until the end of the season than Ange would.
Before we carry on, can I just say there's 1,400 people in here, which is amazing, and 220 likes. Again, my maths isn't great. My man Ian has got his calculator, but I make that, what's that, an 8th of you? A seventh of you have smashed the like button. Right, can we please smash that like button? Everyone's giving up their Sunday evenings for you here. Please smash the like. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We're only 250 away now from 16k. Please subscribe to Hotspur Hood, Tottenham Away, and also to Mr. Box Office as well. Guys, look, let's get to the game. We'll get back to management stuff later on, because at the moment, all the usual reports are coming out that he's being backed and it's just the injuries. Guys, we started the game with some kind of weird, are we playing 3 at the back? Are we not? Where's Porro playing? Where's Gray playing? But you could see from the first 10 minutes, again, it felt very much like Arsenal, guys. And what I mean by this is Everton seemed well up for it. Everton just seemed up for it, biting into every tackle, winning every header. Is this a worry that it's not that we're just losing games now, is that we don't seem up for these games when they kick off?
Just a quick one on that, yeah. I said just the other day that I think one big problem we're definitely going to have is that the teams we've got coming up basically are the teams that are fighting for relegation and fighting for their life, some of them. And plus, they're going to go into a game with us. And instead of looking at, right, we can get a point out of this, they're going to know if anyone's going to be the doctor at the moment, it's Dr. Tottenham Hotspur. They're going to come at us with everything they've got, all guns blazing, and some, because they need the points anyway, we know that. But they know they're more than capable of getting a point against us, getting 3 points against us, even if we do technically have the better players, whatever. Everyone is just going to come at us with everything they have got, and they just got to play the same way as everyone else. It's basically gone back to what Alex Ferguson used to say about us, but now every team says it about us. In his autobiography, he stated clear as day, every time they used to play Spurs, he never used to give no details, nothing. He used to just look at the team and say, it's Spurs, shrug his shoulder and let them get on with it. Whereas everything else, he'd have it pre-planned. I think all 19 of the other teams are basically the same. Right, it's Spurs, we know what to do. And that's it.
The impression is that everyone can get out of sound because they can feel it. They can smell blood as soon as they play Spurs. And that's the vibe. Every game from the last 5-6 games have been copy and paste in terms of approach. They've just been coming at us, and I'm just thinking, these lot are bleeding bad, and we're just going to just keep pumping away and keep at them. Everyone, even the bottom of the league, are coming to, not just at home, at their home, if they're coming to our home as well, and say, we can get some in here. Because Tottenham, first of all, in the manner that they play, will allow you to get at them. But also now, just smelly. You look, you even. Do you know there was a shot today? And I'll tell you what, I thought we was in trouble. There was a shot where the guys were in a tunnel. Did you see it? Everton in the tunnel, both set of players stood side by side, and I could see Pickford looking at our boys, and I could see a couple of their players just looking over the corner of the eye. And I looked at our players, man. We looked like we was absolutely shitting going out there. And there was a clip. I thought, now, did I just read that right? And I thought, you know what? Let's not be too negative. Let's wait for the game to start. And then, fuck me, did it all come together again? I was like, so my first impression that I got in a tunnel was exactly what I felt and I saw on the pitch. And it was just a little glimpse that Pickford did. If you guys watched the game live and recorded it, go and watch that bit in the tunnel. You'll see it just by looking at our players' eyes that we thought we're not going into a fight here. And forget, like I said, forget result, forget the fact that we're no longer even competing on them. That for me is just trouble, man. There's no, I can't see a way out of it because it's infested in all our team, all our players, everyone, even the new ones that are coming in are not able, like the goalkeeper. He's come in and he looks like he's been playing at this club for months because he's straight away he's now in the same. I don't know, man. He
looks terrified as soon as the ball goes to his feet. Like every goalkeeper we've had. I mean, his distribution for me, and he looks better in the air as such than Vicario, but I've only seen him play 4 times. But as soon as you saw it with Fraser Forster, as soon as you see it with Vicario, even what's his face, that Austin, you can blatantly see that they're all making the same mistakes with the ball when it's at their feet. So it's not that they're all making the same mistake intentionally as such. They're doing what they're told to do. You can blatantly see that is what the manager is telling them to do. And none of them are liking it. You could see, I mean, the last game, he nearly screwed it up 3 times and cost us. It nearly cost us once or twice in this one. And you can see every goalkeeper is doing that same thing with the ball at their feet. It's blatantly what the manager's telling them to do.
I don't like.
By the way, Chris, the desperation in here is because we don't support Angepostecoglou like you. We're Tottenham fans, and we've never seen our club this shit. That's why.
I think Chris is a troll there, mate. I think he's trying.
No, Chris is in my show. Chris is in my show all the time. He just loves Ange. It's this you don't know Ange. He's brilliant. Look, guys. Look, let's have a look at the first goal. Right, the first goal was typical Spurs to me. Poor passing, Papa Sarr again. That ball that he played across goal, across the midfield, gave it away, and then the ball played into Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you just knew, didn't you? The moment that ball was slipped into Dominic Calvert-Lewin, all I had in my mind was this guy ain't scored since September. You knew it, right? And he bamboozled all of our defenders, put it in the back of the net, and you thought, here we go again.
Well, this is why I have an issue with the whole thing with the young players at the moment. You know what I mean? And because at the moment, when you're in a bad run, you can't have young players in this situation. At the end of the day, you need older players. You need experienced players, and I think the goals that we let in was just naive, to put it nicely. Really, the first goal was defenders weren't strong enough, and Calvin Lewin was just doing ticky-tackle with them, basically. You know what I mean? And you thought he was like Ronaldinho, like I said earlier, and then he scored. So it's just, this is why I couldn't praise the young players, because the midfield were a problem for me. Bergvall, but again, it goes back to experience. Where's Maddison? Where's Sarr? And I think Sarr's just the wrong profile to be in that midfield with someone like Bergvall. I think you need somebody a little bit more stronger. And then the defence, Dragoson's having an absolute nightmare. I don't know where Archie Gray was playing, and Davis wasn't fit.
He had a terrible game as well.
So it's just for me. I mean, I normally have a lot of energy for these sort of things now, but I just haven't got the energy for it anymore, because I don't see the point of really saying too much on it, because it was saying the same things really. The second goal was really bad. I have to say that.
Yeah,
and they should have been 5-0 up, 4-0 up after the first half, and it's really down to the goalkeeper. I just think at the moment it's really worrying at the moment, because the thing is, like I said, I just think it's the grinding out results. That's what's concerning me at the moment, grinding out results. I mean, one thing that good managers do is, when you're in trouble, you make sure you keep it tight. Don't give anything away.
Right.
We just don't do that. You know what I mean? And that first goal kind of summed it up, didn't it? Really, you know what I mean? Put us in the back foot straight away. Give Everton something to hold on to. And that was just really awful for me today. Really, especially the first goal. I have to be honest.
Do you know what a funny thing is, Alex? Is like, you think to yourself, we know we can get a goal anytime. We know we've got players around that can get a goal. Right now, the only thing, when you're in this, like, some of us have played football, and maybe not to the Premier League level, but we've played football. And when you're going for a run, which, by the way, you should never get yourself in a run of this amount of games without winning. But anyway, you strip it back. You think, you know what, guys, let's set up to not concede. Let's just forget about scoring. Let's just keep things tight at the other end, and just not trying to concede, because we will nick a goal. We've got players around us will get us a goal. Kulu's got a goal in him. Madders, they will find a way. But for now, let's set up in a way where we don't concede, and certainly not stupid mistakes, but set up defensively where everyone, Dragusin, is not in one-on-one situations and stuff like that. Just say, look, nice and compact, away from home. Even if you say, do you know what? Even if it ends 0-0, you say to yourself, we stop the fucking conceding goals, and then we can build on that. But right now, we're not giving anything to build on. At the moment, it's like, what do you build on? Because let's be honest, this month we had an awful fixture list, all right? The big games, the Derby, Liverpool, and all that. You think there's going to be an opportunity to try and win a game, other than Sam, wherever that team was in the cup, Sam, whatever. You're thinking Everton might be a good one to go and win. We've lost that as well now. So you think the games are coming up, and you think, where's this next win going to come from, man? Forget the Europa. I'm talking about the in the league. Where's this league? Where's these games? 2 or 3 games.
Isn't this where it comes back to? Again, I feel like loads of people for over a year have been berating people like me and Dan and Alex and Stel and Maz, as well, maybe you as well, Iggy, but constantly going, but you wanted exciting attacking football. I think we look awful when we play football. I don't see that there's this exciting attacking
Everton were playing better football than us. Sorry to interrupt. They were playing better football than us.
We want to see attacking football, but it's got to be organised, man. It's got to be an attack where you're thinking, all right, you want us to be a little bit more expansive, but not so open at the other end where we look. It's just like kamikaze defending. It's like we are not set up in a way that you think to yourself, you want to see attacking, but you also need to be able to defend. You got the idea is to score one more than you concede, but
it's certainly expansive. I mean, we've got more gaps in our our tactics formation, and Savva, I'm sure you've got that picture with the magical Olympic circles on it. But
I'll show you an even better picture. This is what we do.
Look, I 2-2-6 or whatever that is.
I just don't get it. Right, this is. I'll get them over the next few days for the game we've just had.
Bissouma losing the ball and between two players. I mean,
sure,
when you're. But with Bissouma's got the whole picture there. Listen, forget. I know the shape. We're complete. Bissouma there in this circumstance, he's in a situation where he can see everything. Why are you going to try and trying to get yourself between two players? You need to get that ball out of that situation, not give it away. The turnover's too much. The fullbacks is crazy.
Sure, but look at look how high the fullbacks are. When we've got the ball, when one of our centre mids has got the ball there, if we've got no DM and no third centre half tucking in, you can't have both your fullbacks up there, right? You just can't. It's crazy. Again,
Ange's right there as well.
this by the way, this was the moment I was Ange out. This was the moment I was Ange out. He hadn't even lost a game for Spurs by this point. Look, it was 1-1 against Chelsea. When he did this, made me realise, yeah, you're not a proper coach, right? If the worrying thing for me, guys, is this: we keep talking about, but he plays good football, but he's an attacking manager. I agree with what Maz said. I don't think the word is attacking or good football. What we do is we just go forward in mass numbers. Sometimes we get a goal from it. Most of the time we don't, and we're wide open. And if you look at the second goal, if we move on to the second goal, I'll bring Lubo in here. Look at the second goal. The ball was played into Archie Gray. It wasn't a great ball. And Dye nicks in, wins the ball on the halfway line, and Spurs, as normal, have the back four and then no one in between them and the halfway line. It was, he nicked the ball, and then Undai is running for the entirety of our half, bamboozles Dragushin, because as Iggy said, you don't want Radu Dragushin there. Radu Dragushin's a centre-half that plays on the edge of the box. He heads things away. Ian, that second goal, again, was just Tottenham at our very worst, wasn't it?
The ball's in. There's too many players too far up. Gray's not close enough to his man. So the man's had time as Gray's coming in to flick it round him. And then the Everton boys one-on-one with Dragusin. And as Michael Dawson said on Sky at half-time, the centre-half then with Dragusin has got to engage the centre-forward or the winger. He's got to go to him. He can't hold off because he said once the striker gets in the box, he's then in complete control. You know, you touch him down, your penalty. You lose him, the guy's through in it, and it's a goal. So Dragusin should have got closer. Should have actually shepherded him down the line. Go to him. Don't run off and back off. But I'm really disappointed with Dragusin because when he first came in, he had a few good games, and I just seem to think maybe he's only 21, 22 as well, and I think maybe he's lost confidence there as well. I mean, you can't.
Aren't we playing him all wrong? This
is the one time. This is the one time that I'm. Look, I don't rate a lot of our players. I think, this is a better squad than what Conte had and Jose had potentially, but it's certainly nowhere near the previous squads we've had before those guys. Sure. However, I feel loath to blame the players individually because the tactics are so diabolical, in my opinion, that after this prolonged period of bad form that we've had this year, they're demoralized. All of them are demoralized. They don't know what to do. And look, Dragusin, right, was a sought after centre back last season, right? Bayern Munich were going in for him, and for some odd reason, he chose us, right? But he was a sought after centre back when he first came in, right? He played in the Euros and he looked decent. He's a bit suspect when he plays a high line, but he doesn't just turn from good to rubbish, in a space of 1 year. That points to the manager, and the manager has ruined Porro, right? He's ruined Adogi. He's ruined Maddison, and albeit we know Maddison's up and down, but I think he's ruined him. Right? He's
Thanks,
ruined
Maz,
so
for
many
verifying
of our
everything I said. Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate, for
Maz?
verifying me. Thank you.
Maz, do you
Right.
not think Ferguson should have done better in that situation?
No,
today?
he should have. He should have, but
he didn't get across to Trossard quickly enough either, and gave Trossard a free shot in the box.
But that's a symptom of the bad tactics, I think, rather than him as an
No,
individual.
that's bad defending, Maz.
Yeah, but what I think Maz is basically saying he's a centre back. He's an old school John Terry. He's an old school Tony Adams. That's what sort of player he is, centre back. He is not a ball-playing defender.
The reason why he made that mistake, right, Ian, is when you see the Everton player I've forgotten the guy's name. When you see the Everton player running towards him, at that point he's actually running out. So rather than keeping that back four structure, he's actually running to him. Then he changes his mind. Then he starts running back. Right? It's at that point that everything starts going wrong because he's already made the bad decision, and then he's trying to recover. Right? And look, I agree. Yeah, he could have done it better with the benefit of us looking at it now and analysing it. But how many of our players get caught out in these situations? All the time. All the time.
I can tell you why. We get caught out, because our passing is absolutely awful. Because you see the Everton team, whenever they're passing it, they've got an out ball. Yeah. Whenever we're passing, we're all passing it to each other so closely. There's no out ball. You see what I'm saying? I saw it against Arsenal. Arsenal were passing it between each other, and there was always an out ball. We never have that out ball.
But that's the symptom of the tactics. That's what I'm saying.
That's the point. It's always close passing together. That's why Maddison's getting lost. You don't see him.
Look, I'm not saying any of these players are like the answer for us finishing in the top four and challenging for cups. That is not what I'm saying, right? But they're, as we've said, and Savva said, and all of us have said a billion times, when you look at our squad, you cannot tell me that this squad of players is worse than the teams that are above us at the moment.
Exactly.
It's just not. Right? So something is seriously wrong. And let me just circle back, and I'll shut up because I'm on a roll. Right?
That's what we're here for.
Where our football, the way I would describe it, is expansive, right? I wouldn't say it's expansive. I wouldn't say it's attacking, because it's so chaotic, right? That it doesn't look attacking because it's so chaotic and disorganized. And when we do start attacking in our patterns of play and in our attacking patterns of play, it's the same bloody move every bloody time. Horseshoe around the box, right? The rainbow, as we call it on Tottenham away, rainbow it around the box, and then try and do a little cutback at the edge of the box, in the left or right hand side, right? And then smash it at someone's knees for a tap-in. That's how most of our goals come.
Can I just make a point before the next person goes? I just want to say one thing, and then I'm gonna jump out again. First and foremost, two things. First and foremost, guys, the likes are absolutely shambolic. There's nearly 1,550 people in here and 407 likes. Come on, people. I'm now creeping into my hour of streaming about Spurs for you today. Please, can we smash that like button? I'm not asking for your money, just a like. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. Subscribe to all my guests. We are now only 240 away from 16K. If I could get there tonight, amazing. I'm aware that's a big ask. The football point I'm going to put in before I jump back out is this. Somebody said to me months ago that the difference with Ange to other managers is most managers play to their players' strengths.
Yeah.
Ange seems to play to our players' weaknesses and the opposition's strength.
Exposing them massively.
Again, I'll ask you this. How many left-sided wingers, no matter who they are, what caliber of player they are, every team we play against, their left winger, especially sometimes the right, but always the left, has a great game. You look, Trossard had a really good game the other night off the left for Arsenal. Today, Undai off the left for Everton, really good game. You watch when we played Ipswich, Leif Davis going through that left-hand channel. Brilliant. Right. Every game we play, the Tamworth left winger. Again, you watch every team we play now knows Spurs are lopsided. We can get in behind them, and they do. It's such a simple tactic, and I'll shut up now.
One of the things, right? I've never played centre back, right? But every centre back, especially the old school that Dan mentioned, like the Tony Adams and the John Terrys, what's the one thing they never want to be in a situation where they're in one-on-ones? They don't want to be isolated in one-on-ones. They always want to be having players around them, having their fullbacks nice and tight with them. Here, someone wrote in the comments just 30 seconds ago. They said we defenders are 2, and they're getting dragged all over the place. And often enough, they're playing in behind the fullbacks, and if you ask any centre backs, that is the worst nightmare, having a player running at him in one-on-one situation, especially ones that are good with left foot and right foot. You don't know. You try to show them the outside, and their weaker foot is just as strong as their normal foot. Nowadays, you don't have weak-sided players. Very rarely. Of course, you want to show them the outside, but where's the outside when you're in one-on-one situation when the player's running at you? He's got this amount. He's got the same amount of room on this side and that side because you're only defending as a 2. So they never want to be exposed like that. So they always have their fullbacks tight with them. Porro right now, he's struggling big time, man. He's massively gone back this season. He was so good last season. But this year, it's like he's massively gone backwards. That's because we're exposing.
He was all right at the start of this season.
Last year, he was a lot better than this year, Alex. Come on.
I think it was because...
You can disagree. I'll give you my opinion. In my opinion, let me just restate that. In my opinion, he's massively regressed from last season because he was actually being valuable as well going forward. This year, he's not able to do that. Again, another one was completely isolated because we're lopsided. We can go both our fullbacks. Even when we play with Udogie, he's exposed massively. The only one that doesn't mind, I tell you, there's only one defender in our team right now that doesn't mind in one-on-one situation, and that's Jet Spence. He's actually good in one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Whenever he's actually up against the winger, you saw Sterling. He couldn't get away. I know Sterling wasn't the best. He's not the Sterling that we remember, but he still couldn't get around him. He's okay with one-on-ones. But that's one player. If you have a player like Dragusin, Ben Davies coming back from injury, you think to yourself, you just rushed him back to put him in a back 3 with fullbacks that high. You're exposing him. So why would you not? If you're going to rush people back, and again, Ben Davies, it's not his game to go in one-on-one situations. Bring the defenders around and say, do you know what? Davis, Dragusin, get your fullbacks close to you so you're not exposed. Have someone in front that can give them a little bit of protection and build from that. But instead, what do? It doesn't matter who we have, who we play. We high line, and it's like you're not helping this team right now. Like I said, we're hemorrhaging, but we're not doing anything from a defensive structure point of view to stop conceding goals. If they're going to score a goal, let them score a worldie. Don't concede stupid goals, and certainly not exposing our players because Maddison today put him on the left forward. Do you know there's so many flaws? Like, where was we going to get the width from with the inverted fullbacks? And then you got Maddison and Kulusevski playing wide. Neither of them have got great burst of pace. Son right now is not scoring for toffee. So I'm like, where are we scoring today? Where did you see us scoring from today? Midfielders. Where the midfield? Okay, the forwards are and midfielders chipping in with goals. We don't have any midfielders that's chipping in with goals. Berger was the last player that scored from midfield, and that was against Arsenal. It was Liverpool.
I don't think he actually realises they're in a relegation battle at the moment.
So I'm thinking,
I don't think we are. Are we, Alex?
I'm just saying. I don't think he realises
relegation form. I think Alex means relegation form.
Relegation form. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because let's be serious here, right? All the things you've mentioned here is all the things that you should be expecting to try and get yourself out of a situation.
And we're no one to say that. How can he not read that? He's a professional. We're nobodies in terms of coaches and stuff like that. And we see it. Why are they not seeing it? Why are they not?
Because he's that blatantly stubborn and he hasn't really played top quality football as a manager, in my opinion. Said it enough times. Do not relate the Scottish Premiership, which is the best he'd played in before us, when it's rated lower than the MLS, for God's sake. He has not played in a league where anyone can beat anyone. He has not played in a league like this, which has got some of the best players around, some of the best managers about. He has not played in a league where every team he play against is basically a competition. And he's so stubborn or naive in his way that he just refuses to change. And just go on something you said with Porro, I don't think it's last season that he's got worse on. It's this season. Because if we go back about 3 months...
I thought he was good last season, Dan.
If you go back about 3 months, he was playing better than he was last season. Quite a few people were saying he's the best player. They were saying he's the best player we've had in the team this season. And then all of a sudden, he's just totally gone downhill and Kulusevski took his place.
I think he'll be
all down to the same thing. People say we play attacking football because we have 10 people run up the pitch at the same time. That is not attacking football. That's like the equivalent of someone, I don't know, doing boxing. And what they basically do is throw 3 hard punches, 5, totally miss them. The other fella jabs him once and puts him on the floor. It's like the same with us. We have 10 people go forward, try everything. 1 ball over the top. There's your goal. Job done. We're just that easy and predictable with it. But Porro, he was actually better this season than he was last season. And then now, like most of the other players, he's just totally regressed.
The only reason why people say we look good is because it's end to end. And that's the only reason why we look good. Because rivals think we're good. Rivals think they enjoy playing us because we're entertaining. But, you know, it doesn't matter whether we're entertaining or not. We're losing games.
I think they're lying. You know what?
I do think they're lying. I think they're taking the mick.
I've had a couple of people that I don't really talk football with, but when I meet up with them every few months, you know, the topic will be on, how Spurs doing? And they say, I like watching Spurs. I think they play good football. And then I questioned them. I said, why do you think we play good football? What do you see that's good football? And then they say, because it's end to end. And you know there's going to be goals. They don't know why. They just see a chaotic game and they think, this is exciting.
It's entertaining to watch from the outside, isn't it? Basically. Yeah, and even if you're not that much into football, it's a good game to watch because it's just back and forth. Yeah. But if you're actually into football and that's your team, you don't want your team doing that.
And when you hear opposition fans talk about us, right, they don't say we play good football. They say, I like watching Spurs games because you know it's going to be wide open and there's going to be goals. So they're saying it in a way that they don't really care how we play. They just want to see goals and excitement and things going wrong and chaos, right? Because that's what they enjoy as fans watching other teams.
And then Carragher, Neville, and all that lot saying it as well.
Guys, is this where it's got to with our fans? Seriously, are the standards that low that all they want now is entertaining?
I think Ian. I think it's just the neutrals that mainly saying that rather than top. For me, I don't see anything exciting about this. And in terms of just to add to the last bit about Porro, I was going to say earlier on. Listen, with Porro, how many games has he missed this season? He's played every single game. So
whose fault's that?
I agree, but Alex, you know what the funny thing is? This is before Udogie got injured, we've always had Spence. We've always had him, and we was never ever. The other thing is that somebody keeps the records of minutes that these players have played. Yeah. He has played every single one, so I think he's just been overplayed. And where we had Jed Spence sitting, even Regulon, to be honest with you, we've had him there as well. And
the only reason why he's playing well is because he's despite because he's been annoying him for so long. And I've been saying
we've not managed him. We've mismanaged Porro this season.
Yeah,
massively.
But it's on his fault. It's his fault, and because he's been ignoring him for the last how many months. And the only reason why he got back into the team is because of injuries.
I agree with you. I agree, and I'm thinking to myself,
sitting there thinking, "What do you think I really care about you? I'm going to do it for spite you, mate."
At the same time, I agree with the sentiment. But they're also professional footballers who are paid by the club to do a job. And for me, this is the thing. Now, if this is a Jet Spence that we're all seeing, and we always said it, we can only judge a guy if we see him play, and we have been seeing him play quite regularly, even at left back. And I'm thinking to myself, if this is a Jet Spence that we're seeing. And he must have been shown levels of this in training. Why has he been ignored as long as he has? Why has he been ignored as long as he has?
Iggy, can I answer this one? Right, we've all seen last season and this season. He's got his set players. He picks. Yeah. He got his pecking order, and it doesn't matter what happens. He's not going to veer away from that pecking order. Now, take today for Thursday night. There's no Spence, no Reggie on. So today, play Spence right back, play Reggie on left back. Give Porro a break. Make sure, you know, the guys, you can't keep playing these players. You know, people say, oh, Liverpool plays 70 games in the 70s and what have you. You cannot keep playing these players with the intensity they have in training and twice a week with matches, because he's killing the players' bodies. He's killing them, which is why we have injury after injury. I've got to say, he did call it a few months ago. He did say we got a heavy couple of months, December, January. Don't get used to it, Alex, but I have you right on that one, mate. You did say that with the squad we've got, it's too thin. We were 3 players short, at least 3 players short.
No. Don't give Alex credit. I was saying last year, come the Christmas period, right? In fact, Stell was saying it last year, right? We done. Look what we done with 1 game a week. What
we were saying that as well.
Yeah. We all said it, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Right.
Hang on, I said it as well.
That's how you said
it. Listen, it's true. We had 1 game a week, and now we've gone to 3 games a week with the same players.
And this is why, Ian, we all had loggerheads with you during the transfer window and at the start of the season, when we were saying, what the hell are we doing with Archie Gray and Bergvall? This is not enough, right? And everyone was like, oh, you've got to bring in the talent. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. It's so exciting, right? And look what's happened. It's played out exactly what
against Tottenham on Thursday. Who's going to play left back? Do you know, things like that. Like, why? You're right. Why, if you know that you've got a game on Thursday and these 2 players
Stick Davis on there.
Surely regular. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be him.
That'll be a nightmare.
Exactly. Let's not even go to that one. But in my head, I'm thinking surely Reguilon and Spence should have been favourites to start today, and give Porro and Davis. You know what? You've got to keep them and cut wall and play them on the fullbacks on. But again, if we go to a back 3 and then we'll probably have to play wing, I don't know, guys. I haven't got a clue. Like now with Spence out.
The other issue is,
I just mentioned about Spence. For me, I'm going to say I've been quietly impressed with Spence. And for me, when people say we miss Udogie, I'm going to say this. Let's see this might cause. I think he's better than Udogie at everything. I know most won't agree with me. I don't think we miss Udogie in any way, shape, or form. Spence, for me, is a better defender. He tracks his man better. He doesn't get caught out of position as much. And I think he drives forward down the outside better than Udogie does. Don't all shoot me at once.
From what I've seen Udogie play, I watched him play in Italy a lot. He was better than and more capable of what I have seen Spence do. But I'd say for what I've seen Udogie do in the past 8-9 months, I think in the small amount of games that Spence has played, he has been better than what Udogie has in the past 9 months. But Udogie is a lot more capable of what he does here. Again, it goes back to that part of we play him the wrong way. We do not play to the way that suits the players.
But Dan Udinese, you would know. Udinese was playing as a wing back.
He was quality.
But watch how Doji will go back
and he was a wing back.
That's right. And he was good there.
But watch how Doji goes
been
back
having
into
to play
team.
here and cut in and everything else over the 9 months. Because when Udogie started here, I think he was good, but he has totally regressed. And where Spencer's been playing over the past month, he's looked better than Udogie has over the past 9 months, basically.
Udinese, he was a wing back and he played on the outside. He was literally hogging the touchline. Here, he's playing in the back 4,
taking people on, getting it round them, and that. He
on the outside, he was literally sometimes he'd run with the ball and he'd be outside of the touchline with the ball inside the touchline. Do you know what I mean? He was always working the outside. Here is in the back 4 playing inverted. It's just a completely different game, man. This is what I'm saying. You're exposing the players for his strengths, not for his weaknesses. And for me, this is where we've lost it, because man, he was exciting when we first started here with us. He was an exciting player, but now he's been exposed the same way Dragusin, the same way as Porro. How many players, Madison? We can go on. How many of them have been exposed in the negative way instead of a positive? Tell me one player that's actually benefited in the system. Who have you seen anyone say, do you know what? This way here has actually made that player look so good.
Iggy, you're a year too late because I told people about it. No one improving.
Yeah,
the point
Iggy.
is, yeah. The
Sorry.
point is, though.
Sorry, Ali.
The point is, though, yeah. Right. I bet any money on you, yeah. When Adoji's fit, he'll be back into the team, and Spence will be out on sub bench. I bet you any money.
Alex, Udogie should be in, but Spence should be on the right and Porro push further up. Because to me, look at those fast fullbacks that bomb down the line. They're all tall, wiry, athletic type players. Look at Porro. He's short, he's stocky. He's not built for that. He is built further up.
No, Ian, he's perfectly fine to do what he does if he would just run it up the side, not cut inside. If he was just to do what he does and overlap it and cross it, you'd see a lot more out of him. It's the fact that he has to cross it in. But I agree with what you're saying. I said that ages ago. When I look at Porro, not of the same quality, I see a Gareth Bale. And what I mean by that is, okay, he can play right back, right wing back and be good at it, but I think he'll be so much better as a right wing to get forward, drill the ball across, cross it over, also have a shot. He's the same sort of style player as Bale was, just in nowhere near the same level.
Hang on, Maz. Look at the ball that Porro put in for Solanke for the goal against Newcastle in the first.
Now have him overlapping and crossing all the time.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think
Porro's one of our most technical players. Yeah, certainly going forward. But this is where Andrew's completely mismanaged the squad, because he alienated at the start of the season people like Spence, Reguilon, right? And you're thinking, why? Why have you done that? He sent Phillips out on loan again. I'm not saying Phillips is the answer, right? He didn't give. I know Dorrington was injured, but he didn't really give Dorrington much of a run out. So by not using his squad, and having to use them late on when there's problems, it sets a bad precedent.
Agreed.
Right. And he makes players think, oh, you're only playing me because your boy is injured. Right. And then other players
same with Timo Werner.
Upset. Yeah, and other players get upset around them. And you can tell that I hate all of this fake, let's all huddle round together and have another team talk just before we kick off, because all that tells me is that there's no leadership in that dressing room saying, come on, boys, let's rev up, let's go out there and play, right? And there doesn't seem to be a cohesion, a togetherness in that team at all.
I'm gonna do some super chats and then something I want to say, and we'll move on to another subject. Before we do, keep smashing the like button, please. Please subscribe to Tottenham Away, Mr. Box Office TV, and the Hotspur Hood as well. Please subscribe to everybody, and if you subscribe to me as well, that would be absolutely amazing. Super chats here. Tony and AC. Thanks, Tony. I'll say it even if you don't want to write it. He said, "Dickheads, admit you were wrong, and Savva was right all along." Stop it. Just stop it. With me and everyone in the studio about this fraud. Yeah, look, I'm not saying it was just me. There's a lot of people on this panel as well. A lot of people that have said for a long time that they could see this, and we were called negative. We were called toxic. We were told that we don't understand Ange. And they were right. I don't understand Ange, but not for the reason they gave me. So big up to you, Tony and AC. Appreciate that. Ricardo has said, why not Terzic? We're going to talk about managers in a minute. We will talk about managers in a minute, Ricardo. So we'll come back to Terzic in a minute. But thank you very much for that. And then Coys87 has said, I'm Ange out, but footy changed since Harry Redknapp last managed. Coys87, you say that. Harry Redknapp, for me, is very much what I'm seeing from the likes of Marco Silva at Fulham. The basics. I don't think it's rocket science. Play players in their right position, get a defence that defends, a midfield that midfields, and a forward line that forward lines, right? It's not brain surgery. All of this football's changed. Well, Ange is trying to bring a style of football that has changed, and look at the chaos. Look at the mess. Don't we need to go back to basics? So big up to you, Coys87. I appreciate that. Guys, just wanted to show you this. If one more person says this to me, I'm going to cry. We only ever lose by one goal. I just thought this was quite funny. The lost by one goal trophy. And also, I thought this was quite funny. And standing outside the job centre. Someone said to me earlier, "Oh, you're so harsh wanting someone to lose their job." Yeah, he's only going to get paid £10 million or whatever is he to lose his job. I'll be sacked for £10 million. And here is just a couple of things I want to show you. This is our last 6 games in the Premier League. Look at the absolute state of this. 1 draw, which was against Wolverhampton Wanderers, who are, if I'm not wrong, 17th, 2 places below us, by the way, 17th. 1 point from our last 18. Don't know if you know this, guys. That's 1 win in 10. Our only win in 10 Premier League games is against the worst statistical Premier League team there has ever been. That is what Ange Postecoglou can beat. And this is what, 5 minutes before going live, this was the next manager odds to be sacked. Ange Postecoglou has today gone to 1 to 2 on. Now that could be, I was speaking to my mate who worked in betting and I said, do they know something? And he said, no, it's probably because more people are putting their money on Ange now that the bookies will start to lower the odds to make sure that they're not paying out loads. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Guys, I want to ask about this. So we've lost the game. We've come back. We scored 2 goals and everyone's going, well, great. Look, they're fighting for him. I'm going to ask you this question. 1, should we change manager now? Some people are saying we should wait till the end of the season. And other people are saying, well, it's only fair to him to stay in because we are still in the cups. I'll let you know where I am and then let you 5 debate it. I couldn't give a monkeys if we win the League Cup this year at the moment. This, for me, doesn't do anything for me when I see how shit my club is. We can go and lift that cup and we'll go, yeah, great, it's a day out of Wembley. But when I'm looking at how far backwards we're going, that for me will paper over how bad this manager is and that we're going in the wrong direction. I know people are going to say, nah, we want to win a trophy. But for me, I still think he should go, even if he wins that League Cup, if we finish bottom half. I'll let you guys discuss.
I'm just going to say this straight away. I'll sack him, but for a manager, right? Like a coach, another coach. If we're going to get Mason in, forget it. I can't do him. I can't do it.
What if it's Mason for the end of the season? He's got better stats. He's got better stats than Ange. What is Ange doing that Mason couldn't?
And can I add to that, Savva, before you answer, Alex? But Alex, the problem with what you're doing is exactly why I hate this. Oh, let's not sack Ange now because it's always the same, right? We handed out Sherwood then for no reason. We handed out, I don't know, AVB for no reason. We handed out Jose, or we handed out Conte or Nuno for the same things. That's really hypocritical.
Well, no, but it's not. But the thing is that we need to have a plan. We need to have a plan. Like, do what Man United
doesn't have plans.
Well, that's the problem I have at the moment. That's the problem I have. It's I don't think I'm being hypocritical, Maz. I just think at the moment, I just think I don't see a plan from our ownership. This is where I have to look at them. This is where I have to look at them for the responsibility. Because for me, when things are going wrong, you should have a second plan. That's what we were told with Simon Davis. I need to be careful what I say because it's what Stelios said here with what he spoke to. But I think the whole plan is that when Ange obviously moved on, they'll have somebody in place who was going to be similar to him, or someone to move on the plan, the plan even more.
Well, that bar at the moment is really low, though. I mean, like.
Well, I know, but this is the thing. I don't understand why we haven't done our research already to have somebody in mind if things are going wrong. That's what I'm saying at the moment. And my worry is that the status quo is that we're not going to have a plan. Oh, let's put Mason in there, and then we've got nothing to really go on. That's my concern, because the problem is that these things. It seems the Premier League, which I don't think is the best quality league that it is at the moment, right? And this is why teams are, you can be up and down very, very quickly. It can get worse before it gets better. And I just think Tottenham at the moment are free falling at the moment.
Can it get worse though? From Alex, 1 win in 10 games.
No, listen, Savva,
hang on. 1 win in 10 games, Alex, right? and this season we've lost 12 out of 22. How much further backwards do you think we can go? And the other part is, you said you've got to bring in a manager that continues on that kind of project, or whatever you said, the plan that Ange has. I think the whole point is we're seeing what Ange wants to do doesn't work. I don't want a manager that wants to do what Ange does. Don't we need to bring in a manager that we go stable? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Stabilize, yeah.
We keep talking as though the next manager we bring in is going to win us a league title. I think we've gone so far backwards as a football club under this manager that I need to get a manager that comes in next that we go, phew, just settle the nerves. Finish 7th, finish 8th, settle the nerves. This manager has got us 15th. So surely we just need a settling manager rather than let's go and get a Conte or a Jose surely, don't we?
I'm just thinking of a Conte. I'm not thinking about a Conte or
no. I was just using those names.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about someone who's going to stabilize the club, but also be a bit of version. Someone that's going to be more balanced, maybe.
Do you think Mason would get better results than Ange?
100%.
I don't know, Dan.
Yes,
I'll give you a reason why.
At the moment, Dan, I just don't know. At the moment, I don't know.
I'll give you a reason why I think he would, Alex. Because again, for me, we all keep repeating our stuff, but it comes to the same thing. For me, if Ange would just stop inverting the wing backs both at the same time,
agreed.
I think that's 20% of his problem sorted. Yeah, so that would have got us more points. We've seen our Mason plays. He's not going to have 2 inverted wing backs legging it up the pitch with 2 defenders standing there. That's just not the way we have ever seen him play. As all he'd have to do is sort that out, and that's 20% of our problem sorted, I think. I think you'd see more results out of him. I'm not saying we'd do great, but I think he'd be able to keep us steady enough for the season to then go and make sure we've got the manager for the start of next season.
Do you know what, though? It's incredible because every team has 3 top players in that team, right? And right now, and you set everyone else structured in a structure where these 3 players can make the difference for you whenever they play. Let's say, for example, Madison, Kulusevski, and Son are 3 best players. You put them in the best condition possible to cause damage in the opposition half, and everyone else will be structured, defensively structured to say, right, this is what we do. Make sure we get the ball into the best players as quickly as possible into Madison, get it into him, who then play it to the forwards. But we are fundamentally flawed, like in every single aspect of it. We've been talking about it all stream, how we've exposed our players' weaknesses instead of showing their strengths, which is a complete flaw. And right now, man, like, you know what? Someone said, I can't remember Tottenham away. Someone said, I think this club, before they sack Ange, will wait for the January transfer market to close, so they don't have to then spend money.
That was this.
Was it Matt? It might. Was it Dan? Was it Matt? Someone said. I couldn't remember who said it.
Yeah, it was Dan.
And do you know
I've been
what?
saying
Dan?
it for 3 months, mate.
Do you know what? I think that's what's going to happen. I don't, because right now you think to yourself, with 20 days into January, what have the club done to even alleviate the problem? Not necessarily for Ange, but for the team.
Exactly.
Let me ask you a question. Would you give this manager money? Would you right now want to give as a chairman? And by the way, I'm not backing Daniel Levy in any way. But if I'm a chairman, am I going, where do I want this money to go? Do I want it to go on the guy that has got us in our worst form for 47 years? Or am I going to say, right, you get better,
rid, man. Get rid. I agree, get rid. But you think to yourself, mate, we've been without our 2 first-team centre-backs and our goalkeeper for how long now, man? I don't know anyone else in this situation that wouldn't be on that alone.
Go and get a couple of loans. Don't spend
man.
Do
something, Savva, man. Get a loan and help us out.
Go and get loans for the next 4 months.
I wouldn't give this manager a fiver.
No, I'm saying,
I wouldn't buy this manager a Tesco meal deal. I genuinely wouldn't give him a penny. Right?
Help us out a little, but not forget Ange, but help us out here a little bit. Because I agree. That's what I'm saying. You've done something with a goalkeeper, fine. You've got the goalkeeper in, but we've had an 18-year-old who couldn't see the pitch from fucking. Dragusin couldn't even see the pitch with binoculars on, and now here we are playing these 2.
But Iggy, hang on. Didn't the manager come out and say, like when he was asked a couple of weeks ago about bringing in more defenders, the manager's come in and said, well, you've got to think about it because I've got Van der Ven and Romero coming back at the end of January. When I've got Van der Ven fit and Romero fit and I've got Dragoshin and Davis, I don't need more defenders. No, I'm not saying it was word for word, but
please get rid of
right.
him.
So how do you know? How do we know that they haven't said, right, we can get this guy and Ange has gone, well, hang on, I've got these guys coming back. And this goes back to, who said it? Ian. I think Ian said this. He might tell me if he didn't. Ange has got his players. I get the feeling you could go and get Ange a really good centre half. When fit, he will still naturally gravitate back to Van der Ven and Romero, no matter how well one of the other defenders is playing. So if I'm a defender and Spurs come in for me, I'd be like, well, hang on. When Van der Ven and Romero are fit, am I playing? And I think Ange is so arrogant, he would say, no, when they're fit, you're a sub. So for me, I don't think it's as easy as just go and get bodies because I don't think Ange wants bodies.
But look at now, we're going to have Solanke out. We're going to have Solanke out for 2 months at the best part.
But whose fault's that, though? Again,
No, hold on. I'm saying now we absolutely need a number 9. Is Richarlison going to resolve all our issues in that number 9 slot? So what I'm saying now, we're going to go maybe with Van der Ven and Romero coming back. We might leak a goal or 2 less, but who's going to bloody score for us? Richarlison. I don't know.
We're going to believe in Mikey Moore
and
now.
We're going into the business. In 2 months, by the way, 2 months. We're literally like end of March, yeah. So it's and then he's got to find form and he's got to start banging goals in again. So that's March is the business end. That we really need to go and get a striker now to help us out the next 3 months because I don't think Richarlison's the answer. And Son right now.
He's not.
I know, but this is what I'm saying. I think. How do we get out of this situation if we refuse to do anything on the transfer market? We're not going to be scoring goals because we can see we struggle. I know today we scored 2 goals. Kulu has been chipping in, and Richarlison scored a goal. I'm thinking Richarlison.
The reason why Richarlison scored the goal is because of Mikey Moore. That's the reason why he scored the goal.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
brilliant cross, let's easy cross to score that goal.
Let's say in the 2 months that Solanke's missing, we're going to play however many games, 6, 7, 8 games. I don't know.
That's right.
On average, I'm just thinking. That's what I'm looking at. Who's going to score the goals?
I don't disagree. Iggy, I don't disagree. But my problem is, I'll go back to what I was saying, right? I'm not saying we don't need players. And I agree with Ian here. And we don't always agree, me and Ian. But I think the club's got to go out and go, here's a couple of loan players. Because if they are not 100% sure about this manager. Now, again, as fans, we don't know what they're thinking. They might be thinking, right, one more defeat, he's gone. They might be thinking, lose to Hoffenheim and Leicester, he's gone. Or they might be thinking, whatever happens, we're keeping him till the summer. If that's the case, in both circumstances, they're going to turn around and go, all right, we're not going to buy for this manager because he might not be the guy we want. So a loan makes sense. But equally, I was watching the other day, there was it Emil Smith's Rowe? Emil Smith's Rowe agent was on Sky Sports. I don't know if anyone saw this. It was a few weeks back. And he said, what you've got to remember is when I'm representing players in the market, he said, clubs come and talk to us. The first question I'm asking as a scout is, he said, we do all the finer details, like can they afford his wages and all this. First thing is, my player's going out on loan for a reason because he's not playing for his current club, right? That's normally the reason you loan someone out. So the first question is, if I leave my club where I am to come to your club, am I playing football? And the problem is with Ange, I think most people have seen, even when we've got players down, out, injured, tired, not effective, Ange doesn't do anything. 20 minutes to go, right? 20 minutes to go. The last 10 games, we've won 1 in the Premier League, right? And the only game where Lancashire was subbed on before the 90th minute, he's made 2 appearances in that time. One was against Fulham where we drew and he came on because Archie Gray hobbled off in like the 91st minute or whatever it was. And the other appearance he had, Iggy, was against Southampton when we're 5-0 up, right?
In the Premier League.
So if we're looking at that, you're going, hang on, it don't matter how bad that player's playing, he never gets rested. It don't matter how bad Porro's playing, he never gets rested. Van der Ven and Romero, they're going to play every God-given minute when they're back. They would have seen that against Chelsea. Van der Ven and Romero missed a month of football each, and he went, let's put them both in together at the same time. If I'm a player, Iggy, aren't I looking at this and going, I don't want to play for that manager. I don't think he can guarantee me football. So we've got lots of problems here in the window of, do we get loans, but they won't necessarily play? Do we give money to a manager that we're not sure is going to be here in 1 month, 4 months' time? I think the whole thing is a mess. The whole thing is a mess.
My take on it is slightly different. My take on this is slightly different. I don't believe. I think we may bring in some players into Spurs, but there will be club signings for future manager profiles, as they have done with Yang, Gray, and Bergvall, because we've all concluded that they aren't Andrew's signings. I don't think Andrew wanted them. He may say that he did, but really they're signings for Tottenham Hotspur for the future, and I think they'll carry on along that vein. And the problem with that, as we know, is we're not getting players in that can play now that will help the situation. So that's what I think will happen.
I agree. I think if anyone comes in, Maz, we're probably looking at a 21-year-old again in the ilk of Kinski, where we can turn around and go, well, this isn't for now for Ange. This is somebody that we see for the next 3, 4, 5 years. If they do that, I get it. But would you, if Ange came to you right now, Maz, and you're the chairman, Ange came to you right now and says, I need this player for £50 million, right? Are you as the owner going to look at what Ange has done the last year and a half, and you're already thinking, do I need a new manager? And going, yeah, you know what, mate? Yeah, go on, there's 50 million or 40 million.
Not. Absolutely not. Well, especially not now. But, you know, if they wanted that £50 million player, they should have done it right at the beginning of the window, right? Then it will be a slightly different conversation. Not that it was any better, his stats at the time, but a lot better than what it is now with a few less wins. But I just want to, I just saw a comment in the in the comment section. It says, also, Maz, every club works as club signings. No manager nowadays really gets to pick their players. I don't agree. Not every club is stupid enough to have transfer committees that doesn't involve the manager, or weight their manager's opinion less than other directors and scouts and heads of departments like Tottenham does. It's only at Tottenham that every manager that comes in seems to be discarded what their opinion is, and we bring in whoever we want to bring. And let's give the same examples we give every show now. Jose wanted Skriniar, he got Rodon. It's madness.
Look, at the end of the day, not that I'm comparing us to Man City, but look, Man City clearly have got some issues, and they're dealing with it, man. They're getting players out, they're getting players in, they're spending money, and obviously that Guardiola isn't going anywhere, and it's clearly like it's just one of those seasons. But what I'm saying, that even at this point of the season, they're not waiting until the summer to sort it out. They're cracking on with it now, and this is what I'm saying.
They trust their manager.
Like, so, no. I'm not. I know, but what I'm saying to you, what I'm trying to say to you, they're not waiting till the summer to resolve these. Even if it's what I'm trying to say is, I agree with you, man. If you think the manager's going to go, or you're going to get rid of him, you're not going to invest in players that he wants, that the next manager can turn around and say, I don't want him. But I would say, right, meet me halfway and get some loanies in. We did it with Werner. Get some loanies in that can help us out right now. And then if you play him or don't play him, they're going to be gone coming into the season anyway. But to me,
that would be the most logical thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's like a compromise. But whatever happens to having two players for each position, like this is a squad game now, and you should have a situation where you have two players. But he's got those 13 players, and for me, there's the confidence thing we've spoken about. There's overplaying thing we've been spoken about. I'm not saying he didn't want Dragusin. He got Dragusin. For me, Dragusin is like the guys have spoken about. He's an old style centre back, and the biggest thing for these guys is not to be exposed. And we have put players in a position of exposing for the negative. We're playing football when we don't have the players like Sarr can't play these little passes. He isn't that sort of player. So, and Maddison is supposed to be very central for the way that we play, and he's not been involved. And now we're having to unleash all these young players like Mikey Moore, Bergvall's coming into the equation nowadays. And I think they're good players. I think there is a player in Bergvall. Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
Mikey Moore is showing much potential. But in the long run, if you don't put them with players, with balls really that can play, these guys, we're going to lose them as well, because at the moment, it's that youth, no fear, that's getting them by games.
Yeah.
But eventually, they will mould into those players that are going to amount to nothing.
Yeah, but have we got the time to mould that? Right now, the situation we are in right now is where I go back. Is where I don't want an Archie Gray.
Agreed.
I want a £40 million player that can play right now and has got a bit of experience, because we are in a situation now where Archie Gray is not a player that we want to rely on, where Bergvall is not a player we want to rely on, where we have to look on Dorrington or we have to look on Mikey Moore. We are now in a situation where we need a player ready that can do it now. Not some young, fresh one that has only played 3 or 4 games in the Premiership and has a good one here, good one there, hasn't played in his position, whatever reason you want to give. Now more than ever, we need players now that have got the muscle and support to go through something like this. Right now, at the back, we're even at a point where a lot of people saying we're quite happy to have Eric Dyer back, because at least he's got a bit of experience as a player and he's actually a centre-back. Other people saying, well, maybe we should have kept Højbjerg for the middle for experience and he's a professional player. Now we're talking about the young players, like I mentioned, like Gray and Bergvall and that. Are they really going to be that reliable for a game that might come up to make or break sort of thing?
Those other ready players that you're talking about, we need them to come through the door in the summer to allow these young players to learn watching them every training session to learn, and that's how they become players. They study. If you look at any young players,
it was one or the other.
We needed those players to come through because we knew we were playing more games this season, and we knew that we didn't have enough depth even in the summer to find ourselves in this situation. Thankfully, we're playing on all fronts in the sense of.
But the situation we're in, what do we need now? We need players with experience.
Yeah, massively. Leadership.
That's correct. What are our senior players? How are our senior players playing?
Terrible.
I'm sorry. They're
you've woken the beast. Dan's woken the beast. You mentioned Archie Gray.
And who says we wouldn't have got a player in for? Okay, and who says we wouldn't have got a player in for 40 million that's got more experience in this situation that you can rely on, instead of a player that's only ever played in the smaller leagues, along with Bergvall and that, along with other players that haven't even started a bloody Premiership game, bar half hour here and there? Or would you rather rely on players that have got experience, where we actually need them right now?
Dan, we are Tottenham Hotspur. Why is it one or the other?
Because
we are Tottenham Hotspur. Ian, because we are Tottenham Hotspur.
It should be both, Dan.
Yeah, well, there should be a lot of things in life. I should be able to leave my car door open, but I can't because someone would chore it. Which is what it is at the end of the day.
We should be in a situation to have Archie Gray playing alongside an experienced player.
Oh, now they're clutching to come home to roost again. Come on now. Here we go. Here we go again. Isn't what I've been saying for how long?
Isn't a football team based on a cocktail of mixture of stuff, experience with youngsters,
but then also depending what sort of games and what sort of situation. And if we're winning a game 3-4-0, then that is where he should have been adapting, bringing Spence on, bringing Gray on into midfield, bringing Mikey Moore, this and that. But we are now in a situation where we are about this close to every point means something now, because we're coming close to a relegation fight. So when it's a game that is going to be that is important game after game, who do you want? Do you want your fresh boy Archie Gray there, who has played well? Do you want your fresh Bergvall there, or do you want Archie Gray there, or do you want Dorrington there, or whatever? Or would you rather have a player there that has got 5-6 years history of playing in the Premier League or top league?
Matt O'Reilly.
Locatelli.
Matt O'Reilly.
Yeah? What would you rather have?
Dan,
I'm not sure O'Reilly's the answer, to be honest. He's played in the Scottish League, isn't he?
No.
Yeah,
We're
O'Reilly's a
not
good
having this
player,
excuse.
though.
No, he's a good player.
O'Reilly's a good player. But can I kind of agree with both of your points, right? I mean, first of all, Ian is right. We should be able to go,
Yeah, we should.
bang, here's Archie Gray, but here's a proper central midfielder. Not proper, sorry. Here's a ready-made oven cooked
Absolutely,
player going
correct.
as well.
Experience,
Right,
established, absolutely.
but the flip side of that is we are Tottenham Hotspur and we didn't. So what we did was we signed Archie Gray as the one, right? That was the only midfielder that we signed in that window. Now, the question to me is this. First of all, it's the 19th of January, and I don't remember seeing Archie Gray playing central midfield for Tottenham Hotspur. And even today, when the lineups came out here and we went, oh, Ian's going to be happy. Archie Gray's playing in defensive midfield.
That's right.
No,
and
he didn't.
No, not even today.
The key thing for me is if we bring this back, right? Do you remember, like as YouTubers during the summer, guys, where you have people asking this question all the time, they go, what would you give the summer so far out of 10 for ingoings and outgoings, right?
Oh,
Incomings and outgoings. And I remember everyone lost their mind. Oh my God, it's a 10 out of 10. Look at all the crap and just got rid of. He's got rid of all the crap. I'm telling you right now, I am biting your hand off for a Højbjerg. Right? That's how bad we are at the moment. Because what we did was
I'm saying that now.
We got rid of Højbjerg, Lo Celso, Skip, right? And Ndombele. Now, guys, not one part of me is going to be revisionist here and say, I'm bothered that they're gone. If you are going to let those all go, you've got to bring in some bodies to replace them. But what happened was we didn't. And then we had all the fans here, not you. We had all the fans going, guys, this is a youth project. This is a youth project. This is brilliant. I love that Gray and Bergvall are going to be the next midfielders in the run when these players aren't playing. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Now that is a reality and not a maybe. Now that's actually happened and we're playing those youth players. People are all losing their mind going, they didn't backhand. Well, hang on. In the summer, 90% of this fan base were absolutely jizzing in their pants the fact that we'd only signed kids of that age and that's the direction we wanted the football club to go in. So which one is it? Is it great that we got rid of all those players and this is a youth project? Or now we need senior pros? Because our fans flip-flop and change their mind every single month, right? Let's be brutally honest. Archie Gray, I've got no problems with him as a young footballer. I do want to see what he's like in midfield. But the fact that Archie Gray is playing central midfield, centre-back for Tottenham Hotspur, right, is utterly embarrassing. The fact that we let Phillips go out on loan.
Correct.
Right? And she said, no.
And Dorrington.
No, Dorrington as well. But Phillips for me was Phillips was seasoned. Phillips had played for Blackburn. He played for Plymouth in the Championship, right? He's played for England at whatever level. Surely, if you're Ange, you turn around and go, right, I've got Dragoshin, Van der Ven and Romero, and I know that Van der Ven and Romero are injury prone. Right, leave Phillips with me. Phillips, you're going to play, by the way, against Ferencváros. You're going to play against Karabag. But he didn't. He let them all go. Then it's, but with our injury problems. Well, hang on, Ange. You let our centre-half that was their go. Well, you said you didn't want to block the path. I feel like the revisionism.
Quick one, Maz. With the situation we're in, can we even afford to be in this youth project that we're supposedly in now? We need experience now.
Well, absolutely. The thing is, sorry, Alex. The thing is as well is well, we discussed this a lot on Tottenham away, and we all concluded that it was one of the worst transfer windows we'd seen because of the things that we're seeing now. Here's another thing. Not only did he let Phillips go out on loan, right, and not only did he have no intention to play Dorrington, and not only did he sell Skippy, who played at central defender for the whole of the pre-season, go right. Not that that's a major factor, but he also sold Roden, right, to Leeds.
Part of the great deal.
Yeah, but why not buy Gray and keep Roden, and then have your proper backups? What? Because
why
we've
buy
been
number
short
6?
all the
Why
season.
buy number 6 to play him centre back all season?
Precisely.
If you send the centre back, spend 40 million on a centre back. Don't spend it on
No,
Gray.
but that's the logical aspect of it. We sold a central defender to buy a central defensive midfielder to play that central defensive midfielder in bloody defence, right? Why not keep Rodon? Look, I'm of the opinion that Rodon got a bad rap at Spurs. I think he got, you know, he never really got given a chance. A bit like Spence, right? He was in and out of the team, in and out, in and out. He had a few, you know, dodgy games, and all of a sudden he got out. Now, I'm not saying he's the answer, right? I'm not saying he's the answer, but with the benefit of hindsight now, looking back, why didn't we just keep him and allow and if this is a youth project, bring in Gray, but keep Rodon because he was a young central defender. Stick him on the bench, and when we've got injuries, play him. But no, we sent everyone out alone, sold players, sold Højbjerg, sold Skip, right? Had no defensive midfielders, right? And we are where we are. It's just total incoherent transfer policy, right? In conjunction with a totally incoherent manager who hasn't got a clue what he's doing. As we've all said, he's a PE teacher. He shouldn't be in the Premier League.
Maz, it's still going on now. For me, you look at today's game, would it have not been better? You look at Davis was up against Calvert-Lewin in the air for every long ball. Obviously, wouldn't it not be better to have had Dorrington there, who's quick, can play the ball without, he's comfortable on the ball, he's good in the air, and he's the same height as Calvert-Lewin. Sorry,
he's actually a defender.
He's a proper centre back, and you keep him until Romero and Van der Ven are back, which is probably going to be in about a week or 10 days' time, and then let him go to Aberdeen on the 30th or the 31st of January.
If anything, Dorrington should get that call as the spare centre back over Gray.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It sounds I'm focusing on them again. What? It's not. It's just the fact of we are now in a situation of this youth project we're in, which it don't look like it anyway. This is not the time we need the youth project now. This is the time we need experience.
Well, we're down to bare bones now, aren't we, Dan?
But why is it, though, year after year, we're in the same shit all the time? Doesn't matter who's managing. It doesn't matter what it is. Our squad's always quite incomplete. It's always got shortcomings. We haven't had a number 6. We got rid of Kane and never replaced him properly.
Because they don't listen to the managers. They're signed
I'll tell you why.
They don't sign.
No, I'll go back. I'm glad you said that because now I'll go back to say, for me, we can get rid of Ange. No problem. I got no problem with that. But the fucking fundamentals will always be the same. So I'm not saying keep Ange because I'm fed up of changing managers. I'm saying sack Ange because the results are telling you to sack Ange. At the end of the day, it's a results business. And 1 win in 10 at any level is shit. And that should be sacked on that alone. But fundamentally, year after year after year, we always have shortcomings. We buy a number 6, which we badly needed, by the way, which is what we need. We got rid of Højbjerg for to replace him. And actually, Gray was supposed to be that guy. To then play him at the back for all season. That means we have shortcomings there. And
but we don't even play with a 6, Iggy.
Exactly that. So yeah, do you know what I mean? This is fundamentally what I'm trying to get at. The fucking it is just shambolic. The whole plan.
I don't know why we're not even hearing this right now.
What's the current theme for the last 24 years?
Oh gosh, it's again Levy again.
Absolutely.
Ian. But
sorry,
why would it not be? But Alex, why would it not be though? Why would that not be?
No, I hear you, but I don't want to talk about Levy again. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm tired of talking about it. I want to talk about.
It's tough, Alex.
I want to talk about
who's.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about.
Okay,
we've been speaking about conversation though.
Yeah, but we've been speaking about what we've seen on the pitch for the last hour and a half.
Let's talk about that we do back
but fundamentally, who's accountable for everything that's going on the pitch? Who's accountable?
We know it's Levy, but the thing is, I'm not married yet, so I've been waiting. I'll wait for too long to hear Levy going.
But who's accountable? Like hiring Postecoglou. Who's going to be accountable for this? This has been a failure. It's been a failure. At the end of the day, he's had 18 months, and it's ultimately, when you come to the conclusion of it, it's been a failure. Who's accountable for all of that?
Yeah, I know.
If
I
you
know.
fuck
I
up at
know.
work,
Can
if
we
you,
know
your
what's accountable.
manager, someone will go to manager and say, Alex has not performed. He's going to be made accountable for that, for your non-performance, because he hasn't managed you. So what I'm trying to say is, at everybody, at every kind of any working aspect, there's always going to be accountable when results are not coming your way. That's a fundamental fact.
But Iggy, I understand. I'm trying to be respectful. So I've got a man below me at the moment that has been fighting for Levy to be out. You know what I mean? So I've got to be respectful to that man. You know who I'm talking about, Brian Daigle. But the point is, is that I think the main thing is at the moment backups. I heard Maz make another mistake again. He said about cover. No, I don't want to hear cover.
Maz is always making mistakes.
I don't want to make. I don't want to hear
Maz.
cover anymore.
Cook
I
him,
want
Alex,
to hear
cook him.
players that are going to compete. And that is
Cook
the
him, Alex.
mistake. The
You're about
mistake
4
of
years
having
too late
getting
in the
Timo
argument,
Werner
Alex.
is because we've got a backup in Timo Werner.
Cook
And look
him,
where
Alex.
that's happened to us.
Maz needs
You
to
know
be
what I mean?
accountable for the things that he says.
Can
Hold him
Sorry.
accountable, Alex.
Before we cook Maz for using the backup word, which is blasphemy on YouTube.
You're not allowed
First
to
of all,
say
can
that
we
word.
welcome? Not only has this man got the nicest cardigan I've ever seen on, he's also Ange Postecoglou in, which is nice. So
No, I'm not. No, I'm
oh,
not.
I'm going to.
have you
I've
come
got to
to
jump
the
quick because I
outside?
want to.
Mate, since the Arsenal game, for the,
Brian, just a quick one, mate. I just want to say goodbye because I'm going to jump and have a coffee first before
See you later,
on the
brother.
next one. Cheers for having us on.
See
See you
you
later,
later,
on.
man.
And
Cheers, mate.
catch you
Much love.
soon. Take care.
Brian, just kidding.
Something I said. Mate, since the Arsenal game, that's it. That was. I said after the Arsenal. I don't know why people have said since Arsenal game. I was on a stream with you on Ben Kaufman's show where I went absolutely paralytic, absolutely parabolic about this. After the Arsenal game, I was walking to the little section outside the Scotland Yard where I do my bit for We Are Tottenham TV if I'm doing it from outside. And someone sent me the message saying, Brian, just thought I'd let you know Ipswich Town have now lost less games than us. Like, no, that cannot be right. So I was like, let me check it. It was right. And then it hit me that they hadn't even won a game since November the 10th when they beat us. So how is it possible a team that didn't win till mid-November or coming into mid-November? Since that, I can't listen. This is so bad for me. This is what the owner has done to me. I've actually always said I'll never turn on a manager, but I can't do this anymore. I can't listen. I have tried and tried and tried to defend him. I have tried and used some of my reason being I don't trust Levy to get the next man right, which I stand by. Whoever comes in, we're here in 18 months' time. Whether they start off good, whether they get a tune out of this player, we're all doomed. And in 18 months, we're here again. But when you keep trying the same thing over and over again, today, simple thing. You should have played Spencer and Reguilon, right back and left back, given Porro a rest, because neither of them could play in the Europa League. Porro could have had 90 minutes rest, ready for Hoffenheim. Nope, you're going to play that game. You have to play against Hoffenheim. He set up. It's his contract. The guy doesn't know what he's saying from one press conference to the next.
I agree.
He said a couple of days ago, we've bided our time with Richarlison. We wanted to make sure he was extra fit, that he didn't have any setbacks. He's been fit for 2 weeks, but we wanted to take it easy. But then your main striker is out injured, and you move Sonny into the centre rather than the guy that you said you give him 2 weeks extra to make sure he's okay, or a Will Lancashire. You say that at the beginning of the window you want bodies in quick, that we've all heard before. Even had the audacity to say help for Solanke is on the way. It will be with us very, very shortly. And then on Friday, he has the balls to turn around and go, I'm really happy with the work the recruitment team are doing off the pitch. The lies have got to stop. The bullshit's got to stop. He cannot do this job. And even if Levy got the players in for him to do the job, it's too late. It's too late. We are absolutely screwed. Everyone's talking about Areola. I know you are, Savva. He ain't coming here. I honestly, if I was his agent, coming to Spurs is a black mark on your CV.
I don't think it is, though. This is where we disagree. I don't think it is.
Coming
And
to
let me give
Spurs-
you an example.
Let me just finish my point, then I'll because
Right.
the thing is, if he just stays at Bournemouth and keeps progressing and doing what he's doing in 2 years, once the Pep or someone goes, he'll get the big job. He'll come to Tottenham. He'll get chucked into the abyss at Tottenham. He'll be like, "Yep, here's your players. Coach them. Do. But you're not going to get money. You're not going to do anything." I think he's a great coach. I think he's a great coach. It doesn't matter what coach comes in; they're screwed.
Yeah, but Brian, see, this is where I feel we again, and I'll call it out as I see it. You know, I love you, but this is where I think we go so far down the "we hate Daniel Levy" rabbit hole that we start saying things that aren't actually true. Like if you look at coaches come here and their careers get a black mark and their careers end. Pochettino went upwards from Tottenham Hotspur. Right? Pochettino was sacked by Spurs, then went and managed PSG, the champions.
Ex-player of PSG, and they called him.
Yeah, but he still got the PSG job, which is the biggest job in France, and a team that at that time were regularly challenging for Champions Leagues. They didn't win and get over the line, but they were, and he was top players like Lionel Messi and Mbappe, right? Antonio Conte, he's done Antonio Conte no harm at all. He's gone straight back to a big club in Italy and Napoli.
Yeah, but his prestige covers him everywhere.
Sure, but you said, but that wasn't the point you made. The point you made was when you come here, right? Nuno's gone Forest, doing really, really well, right? Jose Mourinho left Tottenham, went to Roma and won a European competition. For me, I feel like this narrative that I keep hearing, and not just from you, from loads of people of who would want to come here. I've heard this so many times now. We will get someone, right? A manager like Iraola, whatever we say about him, a manager like Iraola isn't silly. He'll know that there is a shelf life and there's only so much he can achieve at Bournemouth. He knows that, right? He's not silly. He's on 1 million a year there. He knows the sort of transfer fees he's going to be given. I fail to believe that if we turn around, now, if your argument is, will Iraola join us now? We'll have a conversation. If the answer is, would he join us in the summer? I fail to believe that Tottenham Hotspur can't rock up to Iraola and go, we're so impressed with what you've done. We're going to, you're on £1 million a year. We're going to give you 5 million a year. This is the transfer budget we're going to give you. Here's the facilities you're going to be working at every day. I fail to believe in a million years that Iraola is going to turn around and go, I'm not going to have that conversation with Tottenham.
I've led away from that. I've led away from that. I think you might be right now on that side.
Wrong. 100 times wrong. Right. Because if people know, big clubs know that Iraola's ready to leave Bournemouth, they'll be swooping in. And just like Moani looked at Juventus, Man United, or Tottenham,
sure.
And Iraola will look at big clubs that are far bigger than us, where he has a chairman that backs him, and he'll get the same money there as what Levy would pay him.
Sure, but the difference is, Ian, very different thing to what we're talking about here. Because the difference is, if a player like Colomawani is available, clubs can all swoop in at once. Clubs can buy players whenever they want, right? The difference is, who needs a manager at that very given moment isn't always going to be loads of teams. So right now, if Tottenham went and tried to speak to Iraola, who else needs a manager right now?
Savva, that part that I was debating with you a few weeks ago, that I'm coming around to. But what I'm not saying about he wouldn't come to us. I'm saying if you come to us, do it at your peril because we're a cemetery.
It's a CV graveyard, Tottenham.
That's what I'm getting at.
I've just proved it's not. All the managers...
Stop it. Hang on. You mentioned Jose and Conte, who were established, successful managers in their own right before they came to us.
Right.
Nuno then went to Saudi Arabia.
Sure.
Pochettino made his name.
That's not a graveyard. That's not done him any harm.
No, hang on. Wait a minute. And he's at Forest that you wouldn't think are as big a club as Spurs.
But you said they've got a better squad than us.
I think they do this year, for sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
So which one is it?
Miles clear of us, Slab. Miles clear.
Yeah, but Ian, but the point is, if we're going to call it a graveyard, show me a manager. Give me managers in the last 10, 15 years that have joined Tottenham and now are doing absolutely sweet FA.
What, last how many years?
10, 15?
Or I don't know. Where did Boas go?
Andre Villas-Boas was a long time ago, but Andre Villas-Boas still going to manage at top-level clubs across other European leagues.
No, but we've only had the managers that you've mentioned, Poch.
So which managers that I've mentioned, you've said categorically it's a CV graveyard.
It is. But if you've got a manager that's looking at, hang on, stop. Conte, only club that he didn't win a trophy at. Mourinho,
I think you're arguing two different points, guys.
We are.
That's what I'm getting at.
I'm not saying these managers come here and win things. You're saying it's a CV graveyard. All of those managers have come here.
For an up-and-coming manager.
Graveyard, Ian.
Hang on, Ian. To say it's a CV graveyard would be, oh my God, Antonio Conte. Actually, we won't use him because he's a top manager. Oh my God, Pochettino's come to Spurs, failed to win anything, and he's never got another job.
No. I'm talking about.
Let me finish. Right.
So happy I came inside this.
Pochettino's stock rose with Tottenham. It wasn't a managerial graveyard. When Pochettino left Spurs, he's gone on to manage PSG and Chelsea, who are bigger football clubs than Tottenham Hotspur, right? Nuno, all right, he's gone out to Saudi, done his bit, and now got himself a good job back in the Premier League. So the question I'm asking you, which manager has managed Spurs in the last 15, 20 years that then turned into that's their career gone, it's a graveyard?
One day, Ramos.
Not true.
Let's go one day.
Hang on.
He went to Real Madrid after, didn't he?
Right. Firstly,
Why Mason?
We are not going to get.
Still here.
For me, though, I do feel like managers, and even more so players, they would only look at Tottenham as a springboard to something better. I do feel like they can use that. It's a good window to come, expose. Show like Van der Ven. Let's just use Van der Ven for example. I do feel like he's going to use this opportunity, and he's not here to play 10 years because he's like, I'm gonna win something at Spurs. I just think let me put myself out there in the Premier League. Now everyone knows there's a good centre back, really good centre back, perhaps exposed in a high line because of his hamstrings goes because he's actually having a track back covering everyone. But everyone's now looking at him and saying, this guy can go anywhere he wants in Europe now because he's established himself there. Romero has been linked with Real Madrid for how goodness. What I'm trying to say is nobody will ever be at Spurs to stay because they feel that there's a project here that eventually will turn into a winning one. It will always be, I'm going to go to Spurs in the hope that I'll get exposed myself enough to go to a bigger team either in Europe or in the Premier League.
Let me ask you off that then. So again, the natural progression for someone like Iriola, I'm not saying
I agree. This could be a move for Iriola to then springboard into the next one. But why can't? Why?
It's not a graveyard. I can't accept that.
Listen, I don't agree with it personally.
One manager that has had their career ruined by coming to Tottenham.
No, not ruined. But I don't see Spurs as a club that someone's going to say, I want to do something here. I just see Spurs as
two different
things, though.
As part of in my opinion, I see Spurs as a part of a player and a manager's journey into bigger and better things.
But
they will use that.
Iggy, hold on.
It's an upgrade to Bournemouth. For Ariola, it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade to Bournemouth.
That's why I didn't say. Have you noticed when I'm talking about the caliber of managers I would bring in here? I'm talking about managers that are at Bournemouth. I'm talking about managers that are at Fulham.
Yeah, we're not going to get better to come to us.
I'm not saying Spurs should go and get Diego Simeone from Atletico Madrid. So for me, I think we are that middle ground between a Bournemouth. I know they're above us now, but that's a snapshot in time.
In the stature of the club.
Right? The stature of club, Bournemouth are there, Tottenham are there, Man City are up there. For me, I don't think Iriola makes that immediate jump from Bournemouth to Man City. And by the way, Man City, the job isn't available. And this is the problem. Ian's saying all these other clubs will want him. Who needs a manager? This is the problem.
We don't know at the moment, Sav, but in the summer, but I'm just saying about
ironically, ironically, I tweeted about this earlier on, and I was talking about just this, and I said, I see there's only two types of managers that we will ever attract, in my opinion: up and coming ones, which Areola, in my opinion, is that guy. Certainly in Premiership, maybe he was known in Spain more than he is here, but he's that up and coming guy. Or an established manager, an experienced manager, is on a downward spiral where his best days are coming to an end, and he needs a job and get paid. And that's the two levels.
Conte now. That's the reason why, right? Because
Yeah,
of what's happened to Pochettino,
don't forget, Conte originally refused to come to Tottenham. It was because
and then we paid him 20 million quid, and he came.
Then Paratici put his word in, gave him the money that he wanted. He's like, do you know what? Fuck it, I'm not working. Let me go there.
Savva's, I think in this discussion, Savva's correct, right? Is we're not a manager's, we're not a CV graveyard, because a lot of the managers that have come in have gone on to do good things,
to bigger and better things,
better things.
That's
right?
what I mean. No one's
and the managers,
but that's who we are now.
However,
we are.
What I would say to end this thread is that have the history is there now from Pochettino and the way he got brutally sacked and not backed, to Jose Mourinho before a cup final, to Nuno for only getting 10 games, to Conte for exposing the club for what we are. And right, we have a reputation now. And I think the angle that Ian's coming from is because of that reputation. He's referring to it as a CV graveyard, in terms of anyone who comes here will be thinking, oh, do I really want to go to Spurs, where I know it's going to be so difficult to do anything because of the way we operate? But there will be managers, right? That's not to say, though, there will be managers, right, as Savva has said, like Areola, like Silva, like whoever, right, of that stature, that want to progress their careers, that will see Tottenham as a massive opportunity to do that. So,
Maz,
there's that.
Maz, my only argument is, and I do need to end the show in a few minutes because I am, funnily enough, sending over to Tottenham away. But I'm sure that they'll give me 3 or 4 more minutes. My only point on this is that, right, is I'm not sitting here saying that managers come here and we go, oh my God, look what they won. But I do feel when we're talking about what managers want to manage us and this, that, I feel like we only look at the managers that have done really poorly or the most recent history. We don't seem to want to take Redknapp, who did brilliantly at Tottenham Hotspur, right, for 4 years. We don't want to take Poch, who had 4 or 5 brilliant years, right? We seem to just want to go, the 18-month stint of Conte. We knew when Conte joined this football club, he signed an 18-month contract. The clue was in the length of the contract. Both manager and club knew it wasn't right, but it was a great fix for both at the time. Jose had the poison chalice of picking up the work that Poch had done. We'd started to go that way. Jose shouldn't have taken the job at that time. If anything, Jose should take that job after Poch finishes second in a league season. Does that make sense? Pick up the squad when it's at his best and get over the line. But we seem to keep forgetting how good Yol did, how good Redknapp did, how good Poch did, right? We just automatically go to Nuno, who had 10 games. We go to Conte, who had like 18 months. I don't like this revisionism that every manager that's been in, none of them have been able to work under Levy. I hate Daniel Levy, but you could argue, had Poch not been so bad in his management, we could have won a Champions League final, for example, right? I know I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of that, but you could argue, had Poch not played Sonny at left wing back in an FA Cup semi-final. So we can't have this revisionism that every manager comes here and knows it's going to be absolutely dreadful. I don't think that's true. I think we're too emotionally involved as Spurs fans to see that.
I agree with 99% of it. You said, apart from that last statement, I do think that managers come in and know that they have to operate differently and that we don't do what the other big clubs do. That doesn't mean, though, that they don't back themselves to do well, i.e. Redknapp, i.e. Pochettino, i.e. Conte, for a lack of a better example. But Conte knew he was going to do well. It's just how well is he going to do, right? Let's be honest. Conte came in, had a brilliant half a season, we finished fourth, right? And when he left us and he got sacked, yeah, it was up and down. Yeah, there was loads of problems, but we were still fourth when he left, right? So,
sure.
Anyway,
Maz, to wrap all this up, look, I think it goes back to what Iggy said there. It has to go back to what Iggy said there. The difference is, I think a lot of our fans are always going, which manager's going to come in and win things under Levy, as in leagues and Champions Leagues. We're not that club, right? But that doesn't mean that that managers aren't going to look at us the way players do. Like you said, Maz, it's a stepping stone. If Mickey van der Ven comes to Tottenham, that's like me going, we shouldn't have signed him. He should go straight to Man City. That's not how it works. Managers and players are the same. They have to forge their identity, then they go up the ranks, and then they finally get there. Right? Everyone does that. Eddie Howe's done it, hasn't he? Eddie Howe did it. Bournemouth took them up, then had a bit of time out of the game, then gets a bigger job at Newcastle. Now you could say, arguably, Eddie Howe should be getting a bigger job, but very rarely do people go from Bournemouth, no offense, or Fulham to Man City and Liverpool. Very rarely does that happen.
The Vincent Kompany story, something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a
story.
nut.
Yes.
Burnley to Bayern.
So that's my only point when I say it's not a CV graveyard. I don't know what that means. None of the managers who have been with us have had anything bad.
I'm just gutted that we can never be that team where a club wants to come at Tottenham because we're a big club and say we want to do something here, rather than be used as a stepping stone to go to the other teams, other club. It's happened to managers, it's happened to players. Every single player that leaves us at the moment goes and wins a trophy.
The sad thing is, we can be that. We can be that team. We have everything in place to actually be that. There's not a solitary reason why Tottenham Hotspur cannot mix it with the big boy. Yeah, of course, we're not going to go spend 300 grand a week on 400 grand, 500, whatever, and spend 120 million pounds. But the finances are there. The stadium is there. The support is there. The marketing and everything he's done for the infrastructure, everything is there. There's no excuse why Spurs now are ramping up the pace and piling on the pressure to try and be with the elite. But the sad thing is now European football isn't a priority anymore because the money comes back through concerts and fights and everything. There is no ambition at this football club from the top down, and I include the fans in that, a large section of them, especially the home match day going fans that refuse to do anything. And we've just allowed this to happen. We've just sat here and gone, yeah, do you know what? And the next thing is, I guarantee you, he's going for your season tickets. He'll outprice you all on your season tickets. I think because he'll try and get more and more people in, and it'll be done. Listen, Ange out, Levy out, Cullen out, Chirpy out, Marty out.
I agree.
Burn the fucker down and start again.
Talking about out, we need to go out. We need to end this show. Just quickly before I do, big up to John Lee, who said, sack Ange now, bring Thomas Frank. I'm embarrassed USA supporter for Tottenham. Levy, go get Thomas Frank. I tell you what, I'd take Thomas Frank all day long over the guy we've got. Big up John Lee. Again, it's what I mean. There are managers that there's no reason Thomas Frank would want to stay at Brentford over Tottenham. I completely agree. And AJ has come in and said, this isn't a youth project as such. It was a wage-cutting process, probably paying 3 young boys what Højbjerg earned. I agree, AJ, but what I would say is if you actually look at Tottenham for the last 20, 25 years, us buying young players isn't a new thing. We've done this for years and years and years. It's just people have now pretended that this is a youth project now. But big up to you, AJ. I want to say thank you to absolutely everyone. When Ronnie's saying no thanks to Thomas Frank, I have no idea why. I think he's done wonders at Brentford. Anyway, big up to Brian. Please go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. Please subscribe to Iggy and Maz, the boys from Tottenham Away. Please subscribe to Mr. Box Office, your boy, the Professor of Truth and Entertainment. I saw that he gave himself another name on a show the other day, which was really, really good. Can't remember what it was. It will come to me in a minute. And big up to Lubo as well, who is he's the groundskeeper for the Tottenham graveyard. Guys, girls, thank you, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow with the collective, where I'm going to get absolutely roasted by the fans of the other clubs. And it leads me to say, Levy out, Ange out. But as always, come on,
Levy out.
you Spurs.